You have to borrow or steal from Christianity and dress yourself up in the virtue of Christianity. You see that? It's amazing, isn't it? It shows you the deception in the world. And so don't think the writer was promoting the thing. He was just saying, look at what they have to do. The nations that have been most blessed by Christianity and turned aside from it and now hate it are like men sitting on a limb over a volcano or over a river filled with crocodiles, and they're cursing the limb they're sitting on, and they're chopping it into pieces with an axe. That's what they're doing. That's what our country's doing. But know this. When Jesus Christ comes back, there's going to be a history lesson. I've got a feeling. A real history lesson. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if before the whole world he reveals how history has really been. Remember those seals being removed? The entire redemptive history, the providence of God, of what really has gone on. The wickedness of the wicked will be exposed. The righteousness of the righteous will be exposed. The blessings that all men have received from Christ will be one of the greatest shames that is heaped upon their heads. Because the true story of history will be told. And when it is told, men will hang their heads in shame. Now, on his cross, which like the ladder seen by Jacob in vision, unites heaven and earth, myriads of immortal beings who were sinking into the bottomless abyss have ascended to the celestial mansions. Other myriads, now alive, are following them in the ascent. You're on your way to Zion. You're going up even now. You're a pilgrim. See, here's the problem. Because Christianity has been reduced down to a decision, an aorist tense sort of thing, and there is an aorist tense aspect of salvation. There is a historical moment when we are converted, when we are justified. But the Christian life is not just aorist tense based upon that one moment in history. We then become pilgrims, and we're pilgrims on our way to the celestial city. Most people don't see that because of the way Christianity is preached. They have this aorist tense experience, a historical moment of supposed conversion, and then there's no journey. There's no upward travel. There's no nothing. So that they're just doing nothing until supposedly in one moment they arrive. But we as Christians, and this is why Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress is so good, we as Christians see our salvation, yes, aorist tense, in the sense that historically, at one moment we were converted, we were justified, but now we are on the road. That's exciting to me. I'm not waiting somewhere. I'm on the road. To what? To Zion. I'm traveling now, and I'm much closer today than I was yesterday. You see that? In the patriarchs, prophets, and pious Israelites, in the apostles and other primitive preachers of Christianity, in the numerous converts who by their instrumentality were turned from darkness to light, in all the truly pious individuals who have since existed among men, and all the real Christians who are now on earth, our Redeemer has seen the fruits of his suffering. In every real Christian now present, he sees one of these fruits, sees a soul which has been redeemed by his blood from endless wretchedness and despair and made an heir of glory, honor, and immortality. He doesn't see that in the carnal. And to think that he would redeem a people, that he would convert a man, and then leave that man to his own carnality for a period of 30 and 40 years, and then pick him up in the end is absolutely absurd. He is rejoicing in his work of redemption now in his people. Even his people that still are journeying on this earth. He rejoices in what he's doing in you now. And if there's nothing to rejoice in, then he's not doing anything. And if he's not doing anything, you don't belong to him. You say, well, Christians don't always bear fruit. How true. But if they're not bearing fruit, they're being pruned, and both those things are evident. Both of them. So, on then, how very much has he already seen effected in fulfillment of the promise before us? Did you see what he's saying? Christ hasn't been waiting for 2,000 years to see some fruit. This is so wonderful. Do you see this? He's not just saying, oh, pretty soon it's all going to be brought to an end and I'm going to see the fruit of my labor. He saw the fruit of his labor on the day of Pentecost. He did. He has seen, he's been delighting for 2,000 years. Do you see that? He's been rejoicing in this great thing he's doing. And now, it is no small thing. It is not a big thing to hide a needle in a haystack. I mean, it is not a small thing to hide an elephant under a 5-gallon bucket. I mean, that's, everyone. Well, no, let me get this right. This is a good illustration. I just got to nail it down. Okay? You hide a needle in a haystack. Anybody can do that. Hide an elephant under a bucket? That's another thing. Christianity is not a needle in a haystack. It's not unknown to the world because it's a small thing. It's unknown to the world because in God's providence, that's the way He's designed it. He's literally hid an elephant under a bucket. Christianity is the biggest thing going compared to everything else by itself. But it remains hidden to most. Why? God just likes doing things that way. On the revelation, at the revelation of Jesus Christ, the apocalypse is going to be revealed. And that will be part of the judgment and shame heaped upon the wicked, the ungodly who have spoken ungodly things against Him, when all of a sudden it explodes and they see this magnificent thing and the magnificent effect it has had on human history. And we need to look forward to that day. Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to have to come to an end right there. Let me just read through the rest of this really quickly. On then, how very much has He already seen effected in fulfillment of the promise before Him? How many immortal souls have been plucked as brands from everlasting burnings? How many? Millions upon millions upon millions. How many individuals have been instructed, sanctified, pardoned, comforted, and made more than conquerors through Him that loved them? How many godly families have been put upon this planet only because of Christ, only through Christ? There was no other way. And He'll get glory for every bit of it. Well, He says this here. How many pious families have rejoiced together in His goodness? I was a drunk, and now I'm teaching Psalms 119 to my children. How'd that happen? How many churches have been planted, watered, and made to flourish? How much happiness have the members of all these churches enjoyed in life, in death, and in heaven? Enjoy this life? I was a miserable wretch. If I would have died, I would have died screaming. But now rejoicing. What an exceedingly great, almost innumerable multitude of happy spirits redeemed from among men are now surrounding the throne of God and the Lamb. And even while I speak, the number of these happy spirits and the harvest which springs from a Savior's suffering is increasing. Listen, two things you need to realize. The wrath of God is manifested every day, and the redemption of God. The redemption of God as literally tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of saints every day, every week, passing into glory. Can you imagine? Every day, every moment, truckloads.